slot, restrictor plate, bump drafting. That's what's ahead tonight. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. We want to tell you about 3 ways that this 250-mile race will be different from tomorrow night's 400-miler that you'll see on Fox. And first is the aerodynamic package that Jeff talked about. The result of that is the drivers can breathe the throttle without losing position or distance to the car in front. And if they pull up and have a run, they've got some pull out to pass horsepower because the car in front breaks such a big hole in the wind. That's one big difference.
Yeah, the other big difference is the tires that they're running on the Busch cars. They're different than they are on the Cup. The reason being is these cars that got the bigger fuel cell, the Busch cars do, they can make longer runs. So Goodyear felt they needed a tire that would be a little more durable. So it's a harder tire, but the consequences is the cars aren't handling as well. And these guys have got their hands full. I don't know how many guys have told me my car is not driving anything like it did here in February. I'm sliding all over the place. That's going to create some real issues. And Larry, with that bigger fuel cell, what's the strategy going to be like?
Well, this is actually a fairly short race, 250 miles, 100 laps. With those bigger fuel cells that host 22 gallons of fuel, these guys can go over 50 laps on fuel. So I would say a lot of these guys are thinking about doing it on one stop. The other reason, if you can stay to the front of the eye of the storm, you'll stay out of the eye of the storm.
Eye of the storm is something you hear frequently in Central Florida this time of year, and not just on race nights. We're about a lap and a half from a start here in Daytona. It got up into the mid to high 90s this afternoon. The air temperature has cooled quite a bit, and the track has come down from around 120 degrees earlier. No threat of rain. Good bit of clouds. Nice balmy night in and around Daytona Beach.
And you know, Mike, I mean, some of these guys, they've been out here 2 days practicing, qualifying. Some of the guys ran the IROC race last night, Tony Stewart. These guys are going to be pretty well used up after this short race tonight. They're going to need all day tomorrow to get rested up for that race tomorrow night.
Because a lot of them will be in that 400-miler tomorrow night. And that's another thing. All of their practice has been in the heat of the day. This is really the first time they're going to be on the racetrack at night when the track is much cooler. That's going to solve a lot of those handling problems, but for everyone.
It's going to help.
J.J. Yaley has won all 3 restrictor plate pulls for the NASCAR Busch Series this year. 2 at Daytona, 1 at Talladega.
And this is their final restrictor plate race of 2006. They do not go to Talladega in the fall when the Cup cars are there.
Here's our DLP HDTV cable cam floating above the tri-oval area on pit road and the front straightaway here.
You do that, a little crank it up. I don't know if life can get any better on a Friday night.
I like it, baby. Daytona Beach, 4th of July weekend. Got the lake, got campfires, got people ready for some action.
We got the grass cam, or the asphalt cam, whichever you want to call it.
Or the crushed shells and some binder, like a lot of the pavement here in Florida is cam. Lake Lloyd, the borrow pit that was dug to build the bankings for Daytona International Speedway back in 1958. Like everything else here in this part of Florida, you dig a hole and it fills with water.
Imagine that.
Now, 2 things also that exist here, but this exists also in Nextel Cup. You see that yellow line? Below that yellow line is out of bounds. You cannot race below that yellow line, and they have a non-aggressive driving zone the whole racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. I know last in February here, they had areas that you could bump draft in. But this time, coming back, all the racetrack is a no-bump zone.
Fast track Friday night. Here we go in Daytona.
Well, DW, in honor of our 6 years of doing the Busch Series, NASCAR on Fox, you better reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, let's get this Friday night party started.
Yeah, baby, this is it for you Busch boys. No more boogity, boogity, boogity from DW. But tonight, it's boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. They hang together. Sorensen gets up there. I don't think he made any hard contact.
Don't look like he hardly even touched the outside wall.
I think that's another advantage to this aero package. You got so much rear blade that when this thing turns sideways, it just buries itself and you're able to drive out of it.
Just about the time they get to where Carl Edwards in the 60 car needs to turn in, Carl Edwards can't turn in. And the clock is ticking the whole time that's going on.
Jason Leffler has made his stops. He is the last of the lead lap cars to pit. What a tough break for Hamlin. He may have been out of gas. You can't get him going.
Looks like to me some of these guys pushed the envelope on that fuel, so could be costly for Kevin Hamlin in his 4 car. Now they're looking for a little bit of ether maybe to get this car cranked, but the clock's ticking.
Green flag stops are complete. We're halfway in the Winn-Dixie 250 presented by Pepsi.
It's out. And that is good news for a ton of good race cars like Greg Biffle, Tony Stewart, Ashton Lewis Jr., Casey K, John Wood. There you see the 9 car having to be backed up under these green flag stops. Clint Boyer having to make a second stop. All this happened within about a 4 to 5 lap window. He just missed his pit box.
100 seconds.
And the caution, the first one of the night, is for debris in the backstretch.
Boyer.
Grass.
Reed Sorensen in it hard, along with Paul Tracy, the IndyCar star, and Clint Boyer are the 3 cars that spun. Johnny Sauter has damage to the nose of his 00, and we're under caution for the second time tonight because cautions breed cautions.
Danny O'Quinn hard into the outside wall in that 50 car.
Darrell, what happened here mid-pack?
Let's see if we can look back here and see who got into who. Somebody probably slid up the hill a little bit. Sorensen is sticking his nose in there between those 2 cars of Paul Tracy and whoever that was on the
Kevin
outside
LePage.
there, Kevin LePage. No place to go, and they made contact. And from there, the wreck is on.
Johnny Sauter, the 00, getting some damage coming down pit road.
And O'Quinn was put into the wall by the car behind him as they slowed to avoid it. Watch the 41.
41 just trying to go where there's no way he could go there. There's not enough room. And when Paul Tracy needed a little room to come up, the 41 was in the hole.
Paul Menard, the 11 car, down through the grass.
Now, in the defense of Sorensen, he's got people on his back bumper. And so if he's got a hole there and he eases out of the throttle to give those guys some room, then he's going to get run over.
Let's ride with Clint Boyer.
This ought to be sighting.
Yikes.
All the drivers out of their cars, and
Oh, my gosh.
Menard's into him. He comes down the banking and collects Jay Sauter.
Carl just flat ran over and getting in the corner. I mean, he wasn't even under him. He just shook it right through.
Talking about Carl Edwards. That was the contact that put us under caution for the 3rd time tonight.
20 car going by with damage.
Last week's winner, Paul Menard, sat on the outside of the front row. The 11 car tore up. There's Denny Hamlin, second in the points in the 20 car. A lot of damage.
Menard's car is killed.
Stephen Light, the right front, torn up on his car. Michael Waltrip was running second, so this all happened very close to the front of the field. Watch the 60 of Edwards and the 99.
He just gave him a bump in the wrong place. That's what they've been complaining about here. You can't bump in the corners, and you can't bump going into the corners.
Stephen Light in the 90 car, who was trying to get his lap back, he was heavily involved.
And at the very end, Waltrip slid down the track and collected Jay Sauter in the 01.
Just get right here, right about the time you're getting ready to turn off into the corner, that little casual contact just sends, you're loose in anyway, and now you get a little bump and it just sends the car around.
Boy, it wasn't much of a bump,
No.
but it didn't take much.
Boy, look at that 90 car. That thing went airborne.
Yaley squeaks by in the grass, and Regan Smith shoots the gap and makes it through.
And Tony Stewart goes by in the grass on the apron.
There it is.
Just one too many.
Nice job by our folks at Broadcast Sports, getting the onboard views from Michael Waltrip.
Where Denny Hamlin almost made it by, but nowhere for Paul Menard or Stephen Light in the 90 car, and just nowhere for him to go.
Steve Burns.
Mike, and we heard Michael Waltrip after that wreck. He said, my car was slow, but I didn't deserve to get wrecked. He just spun me out.
Well, he was bumping him all the way down the back, and it was a casual. It wasn't hard. It wasn't like he was slamming into him. He just hit him one too many times in the wrong place.
Well, Darrell, we say he hit him, but look at the nose on Carl Edwards' car. It didn't even break the paint. It was such a light touch.
But the cars, you know, you'll hear the drivers complain about being a little bit loose in. That's kind of how you set these cars up. And you get a touch right there on corner entry, it will send that guy around. No, you can see from the in-car Michaels, he was not hitting him hard.
No.
It was just that little bump that did him in getting in the corner.
And this had been going on for the last few laps. Carl had been tucked up behind Michael Waltrip for about the last 3 or 4 laps, trying to give him that surge down the back straightaway.
We've long said at these speeds, these cars are so loose, you can turn them around with your finger. And that's about the amount of pressure
And here
Edwards
comes
applies.
Carl. Now watch. Soft. Soft. But this little bit of a right at the corner, you can see Michael just getting ready to turn in.
As you said, just 1 too many.
1 too many.
And last week's winner is this week's victim. Here's Dick Berggren with Paul Menard.
Now, he just took a look at what's left of the right front corner of the car. Is it as bad as it looks, Paul?
Yeah, it's I think we junked it right there. Typical play race, you know. That's why I play racing so frustrating, and you know, one person spins and everybody else gets caught up in it. So it's frustrating, but what are you gonna do?
The right front, Mike, is virtually torn off this car. I mean, the right front corner is just gone. No way they're going to fix it and get it back out there tonight.
He comes in here 6th in the points.
It all happened behind Dale Earnhardt Jr., right behind him. He is still our leader with 29 laps to go in the Winn-Dixie 250 presented by Pepsi.
Put it in the pit box. They're going to hold him for 1 lap for aggressive driving. Again, this is a judgment call by the folks at NASCAR, feeling like, you know, he hit him 1 too many times, and they want to make sure that everybody understands. And this is probably a message that's trying to be sent, not just for the remainder of the night, but probably also for tomorrow night too, Chris, that they're trying to make sure everybody understands we're not going to have this again. We got too close to this back at Daytona when there was a lot of controversy about bump drafting, and I think this is what's being sent right now. A message not only for the remainder of the night, but for tomorrow night also.
Tony Stewart said after the Budweiser shootout, remember, somebody's going to get killed out there. That created a stir.
Right now you see that team. I'm sure they're dejected, but I'm sure that Pierre Cattell, the crew chief on this car, is telling his driver, look, just don't get excited. We'll go out and race. Hopefully we'll catch another caution, and we may get back on the lead lap and could make a good run out of it yet.
Carl Edwards on the cover of Men's Health magazine flexing his muscles here, maybe a little too aggressive. Let's check in with Steve Burns.
And Michael Waltrip just out of the care center. Michael, we heard you say on the radio that maybe you were a little slow, but you just didn't deserve to get wrecked.
Well, Carl, that was bump drafting gone bad. I mean, why he pushed me down in the corner, I don't know. I love Carl. He's a great racer. He just made a mistake. He got penalized. That's just, but my car is tore all to pieces. I'm real proud of the Aaron's team. You can see there on TV, he just lifts my wheels off the ground going in the corner. I like Carl. I even loaned him my body for that Men's Health shot. That was his head.
Did not.
Yeah, his head on my body. I love him that much. But it was just a mistake. No hard feelings. He raced hard, and I know he's sorry, and we'll get him tomorrow night. I love this track, man. It makes me want to go.
You're good here.
I like it. I got big feet. So you push the pedal down real hard and hang on and guide. And the fans are so passionate here. And I just am real thankful to have opportunity to race NASCAR and at Daytona especially. It makes my heart bound.
Glad you're okay. See you tomorrow night.
Cheers.
Oh, you spilled.
All right, and Michael, referring to the magazine cover, there is Carl Edwards, Men's Health, coming out in August. And that's not Michael's body, is it? But I loved his bump.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Bump drafting gone bad. That sounds like a show on FX. You know, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, followed by bump drafting gone bad. We're getting ready to go green. Let's rejoin. Is this Daryl's body?
Yeah,
Mike,
hopefully that's not what's on Fox tomorrow night at 7:30. Bump drafting gone bad. We're getting set for the restart. That was not dump drafting, but it probably was a little too much contact. And so Carl Edwards now leaves pit road as the field comes by under green behind Dale Jr. with 20. Straightens it out, and we stay green.
But I think you see that gap between Dale Jr. and everybody else is he didn't pull away to that 10-second lead yet.
See who Lewis got together with at turn 2.
I think this car has had some damage from some earlier incidents. He just gets up a little higher right there.
There it is. Johnny Sauter got him after he got into the safer bearing.
Ashton still on the lead lap in the 25 car.
And there is a tire tread.
I'm going to say it very possibly came off the 25 car because he looked like his left rear was in trouble, and we've got a caution now with 21 laps to go.
Oh boy.
It is off Lewis's car. Look, the right front is down as he comes to pit road. And that caution's probably a good thing because in that lead pack, Busch was coming to shove.
Guess who gets, I think, the lucky dog in this case? Carl Edwards.
No,
you don't think so?
Really? Yeah, I think he does. Wow.
If he indeed, when the caution, at the point of caution, if he indeed was the first car lap down, you're exactly right.
Survey says Carl Edwards. Coming to pit road with the right front down.
Well, a 2.5-mile racetrack, if it had to happen, it happened pretty conveniently because you can see it happened right there at the entrance to pit road. Now, John Wood was still on the lead lap with this 47 car.
A break for the Armor All car, but we stay green with 6.5 laps to go.
You see that one car on the inside there, the Hinkle car, the 60 car, that's Carl Edwards, worked his way back into the top 10. Remember, penalized for rough driving not that many laps ago. Got the free pass, working, trying to get back to the top 5.
Boy, I tell you, that 57 car, Vickers, is trying every way he can to find a way around our leader up here. He was looking like
Edwards 8th, fighting for 7th against Martin Truex as the front 4 try to play keep away from this second pack.
I felt like they could break away. Those 4 cars were really quite good together. It'd be up to Carl and the 1 car, Mike Wallace, back here to maybe chase them back down.
And guys, I know Brian Vickers, his plans are all set for 2007. Can you imagine how bad the kid wants to win a race, whether it's a Busch or a Nextel Cup race right now?
You know what? I think he's just really happy right now. Not that he's leaving that team, but that he has somewhere to go, something to look forward to, and he's driving with confidence and ease. I watched some of his interviews now, Larry, and he's got a smile on his face, and the pressure's off.
5 laps to go.
You notice that second pack, Mike Wallace in the 1 car, he's taking the lead of that group, bumped up into the 5th position. Carl Edwards in the 60 takes a look to the inside of Mike Wallace. Daryl, I think you were talking about it earlier. Your best friend right now would be that yellow line.
You got it.
Below is number 5. Peeks out from behind Carl Edwards. And gains position.
Gained 2 or 3 positions, and that's the reason he's being penalized. He did not give those positions back.
Well, you know, you can say that's pretty picky, but that's what that yellow line's there for. Don't go below it. Oh, we got a wreck over here.
And it's Jason left.
Caution is out. This means we are probably going to go into overtime.
And what is that going to mean for the drivers who did not stop on the caution at lap 57?
Well, we've got some cars out there that we got 3 cars that stayed out, but most of those cars actually went a little further than the other cars, so I think they're going to be just fine.
Let's see what
we've had a lot of cautions to make up the difference.
What caused this? It's the 38 car. The 5 is closing. Oh, the 38 gets into Martin Truex, has to lift up a little bit, and the 5 nailed him. That's just one of those chain reactions.
Now, Kyle Busch in the 5 has already hit pit road already. He's doing his pass through. I don't think they're going to let that work since the caution is already out.
No, he'll probably have to restart at the tail end of the line.
Which beats what would have happened had we not had that caution, because he would have been totally out of the equation doing a pass through under green.
So the caution is a benefit for Kyle Busch. He was not the cause of it.
Boy, he was almost a part of it, though.
Yeah, he played a role.
Caution's out. Watch the end coming up.
So we will go to overtime with Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading. Jason Leffler on pit road for service.
He was running pretty good. He was up, well, he's 18th on the board there.
Now, Mike, just to update you, on those 3 cars you were talking about that stayed out way back on lap 57, there were only 3 cars. One of them was Jason Leffler, we just saw. Michael Waltrip was the other one, and he's out of the race. So the only car that stayed out at lap 57 is still out there is our leader there, pretty much Dale Earnhardt Jr. But he pitted late, Matt, on lap 50. With the cautions we've had, he's probably in good shape.
Joey Meyer, his spotter, asked him if it was the right front that he thought he might have issues with. Junior said 10-4. He said he broad-slided it in turn 4 once, and ever since the car hasn't been the same. Joey looked at the right front and says it looks good to him. And Junior just said 10-4. Right now he's just riding. The guys are up on the wall in case he has to hit pit road.
Including February of '03 here in Daytona, and July that same year. February of 2004. So he's trying to take his 4th different paint scheme and sponsor to victory lane, and if he wins tonight, he will tie Harry Gant and his father with 21 wins since this became the NASCAR Busch Series in 1982. Brian Vickers is the man who is trying to deny him. Steve?
Mike, DW just talked about how at ease Brian Vickers is in the race car. Crew chief Peter Suspenzo just told him, you've improved so much drafting the last 2 years. Brian said, thank you, man. That means a lot to me.
Brian Vickers' game has really risen. He's ready to win. It's just a matter of time. But will tonight be the night? Or Kevin Harvick, who started 42nd and runs 3rd.
I think that 8 car is going to have to mess up here somehow, because he's just got too strong a car on these restarts and everywhere. He's just strong, man. They ain't pull away.
Green flag will next see the white, and if we go caution free, it'll be the checker.
But you threw that in there.
That if?
That if.
You see Carl Edwards in the 60 car going to the high side. This is a battle for 5th with Mike Wallace in the 1.
Single file restart. Kyle Busch had to start at the tail end.
But look at the run J.J. Yaley got in the 18 car. He's going to go by both of them down the back straightaway. There you see Earnhardt Jr. putting the block on Vickers twice down the back straightaway.
Denny Hamlin in trouble. No caution. If the caution waves, the race is over.
I think it's got to wave. There's cars all over the place.
Hamlin's moving. White flag. Junior by 2 car lengths. But Vickers is there, and he has Harvick tied tight to his bumper.
Boy, that was a mighty aggressive block there by Junior going into 1.
Daryl, he's driving the thing out the rearview mirror about as much as he is out the windshield. Now, there are those 2 children's cars to the high side off turn 2.
Junior just got such a whale of a run off of the turn 2 that time. I just don't think they can get to him.
3 ahead of that group in your mirror. Everybody's nose to tail.
Junior stretching it out. That leaves 4 cars to fight for 2nd. Here comes Yaley back, the pole sitter, trying to break into the top 4. And off the final turn, Dale Earnhardt Jr. scores his 21st NASCAR Busch Series victory.
Carl Edwards fought his way back to a top 5 finish.
Oh, man, we got Ashton Lewis going around here at the line by himself.
You heard the fireworks, and I think Lewis's tires blow out as he's spun to a halt. Dale Earnhardt Jr. led 88 of 103 laps tonight. He took the lead and never looked back.
There's his buddy back there, Truex, driving Marcus Marlin's car this weekend.
J.J. Yaley went by there. He came back for a 4th place finish. Nice run.
So, man, I didn't have a scratch on my car.
Well, I think I kind of know what that's about. About a month ago, I think it was intended for Martin Truex Jr. to drive that 8 car.
I think you're right.
Oh, y'all.
Great run for John Andretti in that 10 car, finishes in the 10th position.
And a nice run for Mike Wallace, the first Dodge across the line in 7th.
And I'm going to give another call to
Nice
that
job,
43
Tony.
car. P.J. Jones finishes in the 43 car in the 13th position. Great job.
We'll go to victory lane with NASCAR's most popular driver when we return.
Earnhardt Jr. with a dominating performance. In fact, so dominating in his burnout celebration, broke the transmission.
Broke the transmission. Turning all those RPM, and all of a sudden the car just kind of like quit running, quit pulling, and it's kind of like we stuck right there on the start-finish line. Not a bad place to be stuck, though.
That's a good place to be stuck. You'll see him in action on Fox tomorrow night, of course. 88 of the 103 laps as Dick Berggren is down there with the winner. Dick?
Yeah, this is a first. How about this? Yeah, well, I broke my transmission. I was shifting on my burnout there. I was trying to get to 4th, see if I could burn it all the way to 4th, but had a great car. It's actually stuck in gear. We'd be pushing it to the victory lane. That was pretty awesome. I know that wasn't probably the race these guys might have tuned in to see, but I had such a good car, and I just had to hold it to the mat, man, and do what I could do with it. And there at the end, the competition got better. We tightened our car up a little bit too much, and but we were able to hold them off.
Yeah, but tell me about the end of this race. Here you are, not sure about your right front tire. You're over 180 miles an hour, a thundering herd behind you. Where do you get the courage to stick your leg in it at a time like that?
That thing's safe. You know, you got to believe in how safe these cars are built, and if it's gonna wreck, it's gonna wreck. What else you gonna do? I get paid pretty good to stick it out. So, you know, just real happy we didn't have the flat tire, because I got loose and about right down there with coming to the caution, and man, it was a handful. It was really, really loose all night, but the race was fun for me. Hopefully next year will be a little more competitive. They needed to bring a little bit better tire. The tire was a little hard.
Congratulations.
Thanks
5 wins. Congratulations. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the crowd behind him loves it. Steve.
Trying to keep from tearing it up. The nose is lodged up against the track up there, and it won't roll, so they got a real problem.
When was the last time you see the winner get the checkers and the wreckers? You know, we're really going to miss the NASCAR Busch Series. We have enjoyed it, and thank all of the drivers, car owners, and teams for all their cooperation over the 6 years we've had the Busch Series on Fox.
Let me see. There was Darlington, and there was Kentucky. I'm thinking about when they wrecked and had to get somebody that told me. Todd Bodine and Jamie McMurray at Darlington. I think it was Todd Bodine, and so I don't know, different places, but not normal.
Tomorrow night, 400 miles for the Nextel Cup cars on Fox. You're going to want to be here or be right in front of your TV set. There are tickets available for the Pepsi 400 tomorrow night, but we've got the best seat in the house, and we're ready to bring it to you. Chris?
All right, thanks, guys. And our technical crew, and you'll see where you see the drivers crawling along in the finish of this race, we'll put the names and nicknames of a lot of our people just below that who work in different departments. Also from the Hollywood Hotel, Ben Altop, Captain Brian Crispin, Hollywood, Katie Entwistle, Kathy. P Squared is Patrick Perrin, our researcher. We also have Margaret Thompson, Molly, some of the people that we appreciate their help. David Blatt, the Gladiator. Judy Wong, Black Widow, Derek Manning, D-Rock, Greg Scopatone is how he likes Scope, Richie Zions is Z, a guy named Deuce, Bill Brown back at our home office. Some of the names, some of the cameramen you may not see: Nelson Hastings, Nelly, and Hey Rusty, Jeff Wilson from RoboVision, JD, T-Bone, and Uncle Bob, Fish, Pack Daddy, DT from Graphics, Sports Media, Light and Slow. Those are some of the nicknames, and they all work hard to bring you racing, whether it's Busch Series or Cup racing.
And don't forget Drano.
Don't forget who?
Drano.
Oh, Drano. Well, he's here in the his name was on the crawl. He's